We created a vision that set ourselves apart.
We took risks that others said wouldn't work.
We innovated when others were content with the status quo.
We are the co-founders of the event. On the surface, we got our 3 chapters together in the name of education and networking.
But if you look deeper, what we really did is create an experience and elevated the traditional conference model.
For our first year in Ottawa, our second in Montreal, and soon to be our third right here in Toronto, we have and we will continue to push boundaries.
So I've heard of you guys. You had an idea to create a new conference. That's been done before, so what sets the event apart from the rest?
Wait, stop. I heard you mention the word conference. Did you guys hear that?
What?
Unbelievable.
So we decided early on to define ourselves by what we are not. And the event is not your typical conference. In fact, we believe so strongly in this that we actually removed the word conference from all of our team's vocabulary. If you look at any of our marketing and communication, you won't find the C word there either. We never planned to design a conference. We always planned to design a shared, unique experience. So you ask what sets the event apart? It all boils down to one word: vision. We identified a gap between what was happening at our local regional chapter levels and what was happening globally at the WEC. The event was intended to fill that gap. Our vision was simple: use our collaborative chapter resources to look at the meetings experience from a completely unique way. In the process, we hope to raise the bar for the industry. Did I get that right, Marie-Frane?
Exactly. We could have set a simple goal and done a joint education conference and invited all 3 of our memberships. That would have been safe. But instead, we pushed this idea further, and we listened to our members, and we decided to change the way our industry meets. If you set your goals higher than you think you can achieve, they will constantly pull you upwards. So we set our goals high, and we set out to be leaders. We set out to be influencers, and we decided we wanted to create a new standard for how our MPI chapters meet. And over the past year, we saw that so many of you adopted our ideas and embraced it, and we were so flattered. It means we were on the right track.
Yeah, it's so true. I can think of a couple industry events that I've been to recently, and it was good to see some of our event concepts being put to good use. But let's go back to the beginning. Early on, our planning resembled that of a demolition project where we were breaking down everything into smaller pieces. We had a mantra to question everything we knew about a typical conference, including concepts that had been around for decades. We didn't agree that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Events need to evolve, and we were willing to be the trailblazers. So, we looked at all facets of an event, from speakers to breakout rooms to meal rooms, even to simple things like name tags. And if it connected with our vision, then we kept it or tweaked it. If not, we threw it out the window and came up with something new. We really did question everything. We were borderline annoying.
So you set a big goal to change what our industry has been doing for decades, and you're telling me everyone just bought in from the get-go?
Well, not quite. In fact, do you guys remember at the beginning, we had this large crowd of people that were lined up to tell us this concept just would not work?
Yeah.
As large as the crowd as that parade today. Let's go Raptors!
Well, it wasn't that big of a crowd. But in our naysayers' defense, there was some hurdles we had to overcome early on. Let's talk a bit about those hurdles. 3 different chapters, 3 different boards of directors to answer to. Not an easy task. Geographically, our chapters are anywhere from 2.5 to 6 hours difference. So we were rarely in the same boardroom face-to-face hashing out these details. Our chapters were different sizes, from small to medium to large. And on top of it all, sometimes our chapters didn't even speak the same language.
Ben là, t'avais juste à apprendre le français.
Exactly. Where our naysayers saw these differences and concentrated on them, we decided to look past them. We saw our diversity as an asset. Now, at each of our own individual chapters, we faced some roadblocks as well. I know personally at the Toronto chapter, we had a very successful educational event called the TEC. It was trending upward, it was growing each year, and we made the very difficult decision to abandon that concept and search for something bigger and better with the event.
And in Ottawa, we were a little bit worried that the event would eat away from our sponsorship dollars, which, being in the nation's capital, was a huge part of our chapter's success.
And in Montreal and Quebec, on top of that subtle language barrier, we needed to work on our volunteer engagement. So the lesson here is, sometimes when you're faced with a challenge, the answer lies outside of your chapter's borders. It's all about collaboration. So we had the chapters on board, but we still had a lot of work to be done. We were up against a lot of really well-established industry events. And we not only had to compete for the attendees, we had to compete for their sponsorship dollars. So in early days, we approached this room of key sponsors, and we asked them, if we put on this event, would you support us with your sponsorship? And do you guys remember what they said?
No way.
It was a no.
It was a hard no. And that should have been game over. We should have stopped everything there. The story ends, right? Not quite.
Because if the story ended, we wouldn't be here on stage. We wouldn't be telling this story. We pushed forward. Why? Well, we believed in ourselves, and we believed so strongly in this vision that we had cultivated. We told ourselves, don't worry about what people say. Focus on what they will do.
Oh, Tim, what did you say about that again?
If you build it, they will come.
And we knew if we came up with innovative content and had some fun with the design, we would get the planners to buy in. And when you get the planners, your suppliers follow, and then of course your sponsorship dollars would trickle in as well. But with any new idea, you're going to face challenges along the way, and trust me, we faced quite a few, but we collaborated with our team and we came up with some creative solutions. And when we could, we involved our key stakeholders like our suppliers, and we said, hey, we can use them to drive planner attendance. So we created a program that killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Planners got complimentary registrations, our suppliers got some affordable sponsorship opportunities. And after all these trepidations, guess what?
It worked.
It worked.
It sure did. We got the buy-in we were looking for. And get this, shortly after launching our initial registration, we had $100,000 in committed sponsorship, as well as over 150 attendees on board. All this without a single speaker confirmed or a single program published.
Okay, so it sounds like everyone was buying in, but tell me this isn't another fire festival in the making. I'm curious to know how you actually pulled it off.
We poured our heart and soul into this project, and you compare us to the Fire Festival?
Not cool.
So we did take a leap of faith, but I assure you there's no nightmare ending here. We anticipated the hard part would be to sell our concept. But in hindsight, the hard part happened after we had the buy-in. We had to actually deliver on our promises, deliver on the concept. That's where our amazing team comes in. We assembled some of the best and brightest volunteers in the industry, and their success lies in the root of them taking risk and thinking outside the box. We knew as a team that if we were pushing the boundaries far enough and taking the right amount of risk, that we were bound to fail in some areas, and we were completely okay with that because we knew that the ideas that worked would be game changers. So how did we do it?
Well, we had to get everyone to think differently. We had to get those experts out from behind the podium. We had to get the partners to engage in their brand and not just talk about it. And most importantly, we had to get the attendees, sight unseen, mind you, to open their minds to participate in a brand new experience. So we designed this framework with seasoned event planners in mind. And you're going to see the event canvas. That's our canvas with our ideas right there. And the results were we designed an experience journey that included rolling activations, opportunities to learn from each other, and kind of a format that was a choose-your-own-adventure. We didn't spoon-feed the content nor the agenda.
Hey, do you guys remember that planner that was so stuck in their ways they showed up on site and just wanted a traditional format?
Yeah, we threw her out.
Did.
Not quite,
No?
guys. You know, change is hard, and changing one's behavior is hard. So we encouraged this planner to stick with it. And in the end, they did, and they became they were converted. They embraced this experience. We didn't want people to think about learning or being different. We wanted people to experience it. And really, what we were doing was that we were breaking down this fourth wall, and we knew that some things worked, some things didn't, but now we're all part of this educational experience together. The experts are all around you. We took risks so that others could be inspired, and hopefully so that then they would take chances to take it home to their events.
Yeah, it was really neat to see how, well, we inspired each other and we pushed each other. We debated a lot too, but that's okay. We had some fun along the way. And we're very fortunate that we had this platform from MPI to try new things. And in creating the event, we took many bold steps, but I think what was our most successful was our partnerships. And quite frankly, without these partners, there's no way this thing got off the ground. And we all know that all too familiar script. Introduce sponsor X, sponsor comes up on stage, and roll the video. Well, this wasn't for us. We wanted to go even deeper than that. So we said, hey, let's engage our partners. Let's let them design an experience in their room that will connect with attendees and give them the best brand exposure. But to be able to do this, we also needed full buy-in from the venue. We needed a blank canvas to work off of. And this is actually something that, I'm really proud of with the event, that we evolved the program year over year to fit the venue that we've selected. There's no copying and pasting here. So engage your sponsors, engage your venue, engage your speakers, and include them in the planning process from the get-go. And use them as a valuable resource in your creative process.
Wow, you did pull it off. Count me in for 2020. You won me over. Maybe risks do pay off.
So we know many of you are sitting on some amazing ideas right now. It's time to take a risk.
If you don't take a risk, no one will ever know about it. No one will ever experience it. And most importantly, no one will be inspired by it.
And quite frankly, the cost of not taking risks is too high. Because when you do, this happens.
Marie, are you okay? The boy said you always tear up when you see the video. You all right?
No.
All right, all right. Well, listen, on the screens you'll see all of the ways that they have created change through their work together. And I think today and yesterday we were able to see you receive your RISE Award for all this work, and to be able to go into even more detail and hear how it all came together is really wonderful. So one more time for our entire team from the event. Thank you guys so much.